Well, hello. This tree that is laying sideways didn't grow that way. It's actually a branch. It fell 2 in the morning. I was still up because I have court with a tenant tomorrow. And as you saw in previous videos, 10 days ago my office is flooded. I lost 4 computers. And last night I had one of them back up and running. It was in the water, but it was on the ground and I was able to lift it. It was actually being scheduled to be swapped out. So I had the accounting computer back up, but I didn't have the printers up. I think the power supplies were in the water, although the printers were not. And both printers, I think they got zapped. Be that as it may, last night at 2 in the morning I didn't have power because this tree here split. It's kind of interesting. Maybe I leaned too many of the fence panels because I've been working on the fence all summer. Kind of interesting that that happened. So I was trying to get ready, get paperwork printed out for court. I don't expect to win in court, but I need to at least go there with something in hand. And I haven't had hot water at this house for the last 10 days. I had everything nearly cleaned up and was getting around to reviving the hot water heater. That was like one of the next things on the list. I have to do a tenant repair this morning. I was going to do that, and then the major cleanup was almost done. But my service cable is kind of in disrepair. So I think the hot water cleanup is going to have to wait. And this electricity is going to take priority. Now, I think there's a little bit of good news. And that is, I believe that entrance cable has come off the pole. And why I say that's good news is, in this area some years ago, a branch took down the cables going into the house. I called the power company pretty much as it happened, because I was coming into town at some middle of the night and I found it. Passed by that rental house and I found it, and it was a live wire in the front yard of the house. And you would think that they would make that a priority. I called, I told them, and they didn't come out for like a week. They left a wire hanging off the pole in the front yard of the house for a week. I'll never forget that. Power companies are always talking about, be careful, don't go near fallen power lines. Look, broke one of my cherry trees too. No bueno. You know, I knew this had happened last night. I didn't come out to see it. Looked out the window and I could tell. I thought it was that tree, but it's a much smaller tree. I actually keep that yellow caution tape here at the house. Uh-oh, I am incorrect. See this wire going up? That's our power. And it's still tied in. From a distance it looked like it was torn off. Oh well. That makes this much more dangerous than I thought. So we have live power somewhere on the ground there. Oh, knocked this tree over too, although that tree had been That tree was kind of done. Well, I've got to go and do a tenant repair. This house already doesn't have hot water for 10 days. So I'll take all the things out of the freezer and I'll use them to cool anything that I just bought, and I can get that into other refrigerators within a few hours, and then I will figure things out. On a side note, if you have a rental and something like this happens, safety is the one thing you start off with, and everyone knows that. And then after that, you don't go into a panic, especially if you're a landlord where you've seen so much that stuff like this doesn't even faze you. But a good thing to do, even if it happened to you, is put things in perspective. This is a house that needed attention, and all the tenants' houses were getting attention for years, and this one was not. Well, in recent weeks, there's been a little work done here. This used to have red shutters. I'll show you the red shutters in a second. And that was all scraped and pressure washed, mostly pressure washed. And now all that needs to be done to complete the changing of the guard is to change these red shutters in the red door to that new hot off the shelf in for 2021 color blue. I forget the name of it. One step at a time. It's kind of neat. The triangle is the strongest shape in construction. So we have a nice length to put on the sawmill. You gotta look at the right side, gotta look at the right side. So in this little hollow spot there used to be a tree there, but it dried. It was a nice cherry tree. And then that tree, it took a hit. On this street in the spring when the cherry blossoms are out, really looks nice. But it's an older neighborhood, and these trees are older, so they are dropping one at a time. But look, this pine tree, it got a few branches taken down too. The forest is thinning itself. Look at that one. And then these are obviously the old fence panels. They're just leaning here, just kind of hiding the cleaning and the fencing that I'm doing. This side was going to get this cedar, but I was going to space the cedar panels, space them out, and in between them build different shapes. That's a playhouse. Playhouse looks terrible with that panel leaning against it, but that's all sawmill wood, so it looks kind of neat. Want to see our wires? They are in fact not touching the ground since we last spoke. So this is it. This is power. Right there, you're about 5 feet off the ground. It dips all the way down to about 18 inches off the ground, carries over, and then starts to go up. So I'm standing here thinking the tree has to be removed before the power company can do anything. And a lot of times they will cut the power to that line before any tree work is done. And I was thinking whether I can get around that or not. I believe I can. If I just make the cuts on the far end of that wire, and the wire can come out from around the tree. If you think that's silly, just remember the United States wasn't built by people that were scared of everything. So the next day, the wheels are in motion. I've already got new service entrance cable. Called in a friend and he got his friend to get me some. That kind of thing is interesting because if someone cuts a length that's a little too short for their needs, it becomes almost useless to them. And then here's a look at our branch again. The house has power. Yesterday the utility company guy came out, just him and his bucket truck, and although I'm not allowed to help him, he couldn't stop me. I just started helping him and there's nothing he could really do. I did it in a strategic way, like when he went back to his truck, I cleaned up, sorted his tools, or pulled cable over and things like that, and then stepped aside. They're not allowed to accept any kind of help, too risky for them, but that's what I do. I'm not gonna let someone else work on my house and not lend a hand. So all that's well, and today I went to court about that one tenant. And as long as the bird flu, West Nile, Ebola virus is out there, tenants don't have to pay rent. So this fellow hasn't paid rent all year, and he got himself a free lawyer from the county, I guess, and they established that there's really no need to pay rent. So, which is basically what I expected. I mean, I'm sure any of you listening to this, you also knew that you can't evict anyone. And then instead of chasing tenants, I should be working on this playhouse. But unfortunately, my projects are always coming last. That's a lesson I should learn, but I haven't learned it yet. So all is well. This house has electricity. It has no internet. That's okay. Beautiful tree, isn't it? And I can hear thunder in the background, but I don't have to worry because we're not going to get that much rain again. And there are pumps set up to pump out my office in case anything happens. Okay, that's where I'm going to end it. There'll be a delay getting this posted because again I have no internet here, and that won't come back until the internet company said it would be a few days before they could send anyone out. You want to see my fence project? These are the worst sections still. Okay, thank you very, 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 very much for coming along for the ride. I really appreciate anybody that does watch. Otherwise, I'd be talking to myself. They'd take me away and say I'm crazy. The wind is picking up. We're gonna have rain. I gotta get back to work. There's a clogged sink to fix and some other fixture.